Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT network, as well as my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments along with yours in the chat. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys. Before we get started, I want to give a huge 39th birthday shout out to my nephew, Bobby. You've probably seen him in the chat from time to time. He's a huge Vikings fan. And I want to give a huge shout out to him. I doubt seriously he'll be in the chat tonight because birthday. Why would he be in the chat? But anyways, guys, just want to give him a huge shout out. Bobby, hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Hope you enjoy it immensely. And I know that you'll be back in the chat sooner rather than later. Guys, just hope each and every one of you had a fantastic week. As we head into the weekend, this is the second day of summer, the first full day of summer. And we're feeling it here in Southern California. We got a little heat wave going. I know that other parts of the country don't have this. 94 degrees in Southern California. It's a gorgeous day for me. I'm enjoying it. Absolutely enjoying the warm weather after the 6+ months we had of rain and cold and fog and all that. So I'm really, really glad that summer is finally here. Really do appreciate it. By the way, being June 21st, exactly 1 month from today is my birthday, July 21st. I'm not going to be 39, but a little older. We'll get into that as we get down the road. All right, hey, before we get started, batting leadoff, Mark from Georgia in the chat says, "Well said, Bill. Thank you very, very much, man. Really do appreciate it." He follows it up by saying, "We do have that weather." In the 90s plus with we don't have the humidity here. That's one thing that Southern California rarely gets is humidity. I mean, we get humidity, don't get me wrong. I mean, we get fog and stuff, but I'm talking about, with really super hot weather. We've had it before, and it's not been that high. I think maybe we'll have like temperatures 90 degrees and humidity will be like about 25%. That's nothing like Florida or, Georgia from where Mark is. And speaking of Georgia, my youngest sister and her husband live in Hartwell, Georgia, upstate Georgia, up to the right, northeast is what I'm told. So anyways, we don't get that type of humidity here. But when we do even get 20-25%, we're like, oh, my smokes, man. How do people handle it elsewhere? Mark from Georgia, all five doesn't know, but we do, and you feel every bit of it. I bet you do, man. I bet you do. I've heard that people will go outside, take a deep breath, and it feels like there's I don't know, like a heat blow or something going down their lungs. It's hard to breathe. I can only imagine. I mean, the air is super thick from what I've heard. So, it's just that's just the way it is in certain parts of the country. I'm glad we don't have that, but I do feel for those people, including yourself, Mark, in Georgia that do have to endure that type of weather. It can't be fun. Mark says, your thoughts on Willie Mays passing? He lived a long life. It's interesting that you said that, Mark, because that is the very first topic. Let me put it up there so you believe me. See? Willie Mays passed at age 93. Very first topic I have for the show. Okay. I know this is a football related show, but on my show, it's about any type of sports. It can be baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever it is. I'm going to bring the articles and the stories and the topics that I deem relevant. Here it is. This past Tuesday, one of, if not the greatest center fielder in the Major League Baseball, passed away at the age of 93. I'm talking about the legendary Hall of Famer, Willie Mays. Willie Mays, San Francisco Giants Hall of Famer, well known for his nickname, the Say Hey Kid, was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, when I was back in Chicago, well, the only time I've been in Chicago, in 1973, I was 14 years old. I turned 15 on July 21st, 1973, sitting in Wrigley Field watching the Chicago Cubs play whom? Yeah, the San Francisco Giants. Willie Mays wasn't on the team then. I believe he was in New York on the New York Mets then. But I got to see the Giants play. The Cubs, the Giants won 3-1. But I got to see some legends like Ron Santo and Willie McCovey and players like that, Ferguson Jenkins and Juan Marichal. It was just amazing as a kid at age 15. And now looking back at age 65 to that day, realizing that I got to see those legend Giants. I didn't get to see Willie Mays. I admit I didn't get to see him. I wasn't on the team then. But I'll tell you what, just knowing that Willie Mays was a major impact in not just the Giants, but the entire baseball that we know it today. Many people say, I looked up to Willie Mays. I watched how he played. I tried to play like him. Talk about a legacy. Oh my gosh, what an absolute legacy. Willie Mays, if not, like this article says, if not the greatest center fielder in all of Major League Baseball, you guys in the chat tell me who is. Because I can't think of another one. I mean, the over-the-shoulder, going away, catching it over like a football player would catch. And then almost running into the wall instead dead center field. Will go down and live in infamy. Absolutely spectacular. When people think of Willie Mays, they think of a lot of things. Some people think San Francisco Giants. Some people think Hall of Fame. Some people think batting average or whatever. I think of that catch. I don't know if there's any other baseball player out there. Well, maybe today because they have the speed. But back then, I don't think there's any other Major League Baseball player that makes that play. And you can name a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. I cannot say for fact that anybody else would have made that catch or played with the heart and integrity and love for the game that Willie Mays played. Let me continue. Listen to what the Giants chairman, Greg Johnson, said in regards to Willie Mays. Listen to this. And I quote Greg Johnson, Giants chairman. Here it is. And I quote, "Today, we lost a true legend. In the pantheon of baseball greats, Willie Mays' talent, intellect, showmanship, and joy set him apart. He was a 24-time All-Star. He is the ultimate forever San Francisco Giant." End quote. Wow. Wow. All right, guys. I'm going to tip my hat to Willie Mays, and I'm going to have a moment of silence. All right, guys. Thanks, man. I'm not a Giants fan. I love playing baseball. I love playing baseball too. I love watching baseball. I love going to baseball games. But when a legend such as Willie Mays passes away and people talk about what he meant to the game or what he meant to the team or what he meant organization or just to people in general, you have to stop and pause and reflect and appreciate and show that appreciation. And Willie, 93 years old, but what a fantastic career, what a fantastic life you had, man. I'm going to go to some of the people in the chat. Mark, I'm going to go to Mark back in the chat. Back in the chat. Okay. Let's see. Go back up here. Graham batting second. Graham says, rest in peace. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And then, I'm sorry. Let's go back here. Mark real quick says, well, your topic says the passing of a legend. So I figured that's what it's about. It's what it's about. Passing of a legend. I mean, how can, I can say a lot of things, Mark, in regards to the putting something different underneath my name, Bronco Bill. Bronco stuff, whatever. No. Willie Mays tops everything I'm going to say today. Everything that I'm going to bring today in the topics, Willie Mays tops it. And that's why I had to say the passing of a true legend, because he is a true legend. And he transcended sports. I mean, as soon as you said Willie Mays, maybe nobody ever saw him play because they weren't old enough, but they know the name. And that's what's important. There's only a handful of athletes that are like that. Tiger Woods is one. Willie Mays is one. Let's see. Football would be Johnny Unitas. People like that. People like, you know what I'm talking about. So there's no way I could put something up there and say, well, Broncos this or so-and-so that or whatever. No, couldn't do that. I had to put up Willie Mays because he's an absolute across-the-board, transcended all sports, and showed what it meant to be a team player, a hardworking player, to do whatever you had to do to make it to leagues. And also, the Cardinals and the Giants are played a series, and it was back in Alabama where Willie Mays was on the Birmingham. I forget what the name of their team was, Birmingham something. And that's how he got started. And then he goes, the rest is history. Then he goes to the Major League Baseball. Unbelievable story. Amazing story. I have PS4. I have the MLB The Show 24. And they just added a complete section of, you can watch videos and whatnot of Willie Mays' career. I think that's phenomenal. I can't wait to watch it. It just downloaded today, but because of this show, I'll probably watch it this weekend. But amazing. That's how big of a legend Willie Mays is and always will be. All right, let me move on back into the chat. Frickin' Rudy comes in, my brother-in-law from Vegas, says, hi, you bald looking and handsome. No, handsome Q-tip. No, I've heard other ones like, pool cue or bowling ball or whatever, but whatever, doesn't matter. Love you too, man. Love you too. It's all good. Let's see. Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. Willie Mays was way ahead of his time. Way ahead of his time. Absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And so many people were trying to follow in his footsteps. I don't care if it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Everybody's trying to do what it took to get to Willie Mays' stature. I mean, got a lot of guys are right here. Willie Mays is way up here. I mean, way up here. And will always be. Always be. Let's see. Mark from George said, you said you're turning 39, switch those numbers around. 93, just like Willie when he passed. Whoa, I don't want to be 93. Not yet. No, I said I'm not turning 39. I said my nephew, Bobby, is turning 39. He's the one turning 39 today. I'm going to be turning 66 next month, July 21st, exactly 1 month from today. All right. Okay. Let's see. Mark says, even though your name is Bill, you go by Bronco Bill, just like me. My name is Mark, but I go by Bronco Marky. Hey, that's cool. Totally cool. Totally cool, man. I love it. Love it. It's great stuff, man. Okay. Mark says, I know, Bill, what you said. That's why I flipped the script. I want to see your reaction. Well, you saw my reaction, man. You saw my reaction, but it's all good. It's all good. Okay, let's move on. I got an update on the NFL being sued. Now, I mentioned this last week in my show that the NFL was being sued because of the price of the Sunday ticket. Well, the Sunday ticket is pretty pricey. It's $345 on YouTube. And the last time I bought, $349, $349. I can't remember. But anyways, $349, something like that. Anyways, way too expensive. And the NFL said, well, it's because, we want it for a certain clientele. We don't want it every day. I'm paraphrasing, but basically what they're saying is we don't want everyday Joe Blow to be able to get the Sunday ticket, because then they won't watch the network feeds like CBS, Fox, NBC, ABC. They won't watch them. Well, let me think about this a minute. All right, let me think about this. If I would subscribe, which I have in the past. I'm hoping that that the NFL has to pay, because then I hopefully I can get some money because I subscribe. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so the thing is this: I watch Bronco games. Okay, I would get the Sunday ticket so I could watch every single Bronco game. Now, the Broncos, like every other team or most other teams, have a primetime game. Well, when you have primetime games, it's not on the Sunday ticket. It's not. It's on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, whatever the primetime channel is carrying it, right? Okay. That's not going to be on the Sunday ticket. When the Broncos play the Chargers or the Raiders here in Southern California, as well as the Rams, those games are on network television. They are not on the Sunday ticket. Why? Because it's a local broadcast. I'm in the Southern California, greater Los Angeles area. I get those games. Okay? That means I get 2 games every year, the Broncos Chargers on CBS. Okay? Not on Sunday ticket, not where I live. They're on Sunday ticket, but not where I live. And then I get 2 games from the Vegas Raiders because now they're closer to Southern California. So I get 2 games from them. Home and away. That's 4 games not on Sunday ticket in my area. Then the Broncos are on prime time. Okay? Sunday night, Thursday night this year, bam, 2 more games not on Sunday ticket. That's 6 games that are not on Sunday ticket out of a 17-game schedule. So that means I am watching network TV. And when the Broncos play the Chiefs, or they play the Vikings, or they play the Saints, or they play the Browns this year, Browns is primetime, or they play, whomever, those games are going to be on network TV. Problem I have is, why not allow ordinary citizen, ordinary Bronco fan like you and me to be able to watch the games at a reasonable price from the Sunday ticket? Well, let me get into the update of the NFL being sued. Listen to this. An update to the NFL being sued is interesting. The NFL Sunday ticket is the one in question. Of course, that's what we're talking about. The reason for the suit is because the NFL rejected ESPN's offer to carry the Sunday ticket for $70 a season. $70 a season. That's reasonable. I'd pay that. I'd pay double. I'd pay $140. I wouldn't want to, but it's better than $349. That's for dang sure. But why did the NFL say no? Well, again, it goes back to what I said, that they were afraid that ordinary football fan would not watch the network show, the network games. I don't watch network games if the Broncos aren't playing. I don't turn on the TV and go, I think I'll quick. Oh yeah, I think I'll watch Cleveland and the Jets. Why? That has no impact on the Broncos. I could care less. I could care less about the game. I care less about the Colts and the Buccaneers. I could care less about that. I really could. if it's a Thursday night game and it's the only game around and you're kind of itching for some football, yeah, then I'll watch a game, but it probably won't be the Colts and Buccaneers. But you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to watch games just because they're on. I'm going to watch Bronco games because I'm a Bronco fan, period. Let me continue. Gets interesting. The NFL turned it down because they felt people wouldn't watch network broadcasts, like I said. The NFL also, and this is bothersome. This is bothersome because this would bring bank. This would bring bank to the NFL. But again, it's because they want people to watch the network feed. All right? Let me tell you what this is. The NFL also rejected an offer of single team deals. Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, we always love that guy, said about the Sunday ticket price, and I quote, "We're not looking to get lots of people. We want to keep it as a premium offering." Why do you think that's true? Because it's money. $349 per household or per pub, per sports bar, per whatever. Yeah. They don't want it for $70. That is nothing. That's a drop in the bucket to what they want. They want big money. That's what they want, big money. That's why we want to keep it as a we're not trying to get a lot of people. We're just trying to get enough so we can get a lot of money. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But if you think and use your stupid heads, you price it for $100, $99. Let's say $99 to be able to watch your favorite team every single game. You don't think for one moment that they would be rolling in money? Of course they would. People in Cleveland would watch. People in Denver would watch. People in everywhere would watch. Their fear is that you wouldn't go to the game and spend more money than just what that would cost per year. And they're also concerned that you wouldn't watch regular network. When I mentioned all these 6 games for the Broncos to be regular network, they're afraid that you won't watch regular network, which brings in a lot of money for them as well. So bottom line, in my opinion, I think the Sunday ticket's great because you can watch any game, and every game you can watch early game if you want, pick and choose, whatever. You can do multi-screens, all that kind of stuff, multi-whatever. I think it's fantastic. I just think it's way overpriced. And I know people are going to say, and NFL may even come back and say, well, if you go to one game a year and you buy, souvenir and you buy, hot dog, peanuts, hamburger, whatever you spend, it's going to be more than $349 per person at that one game. And yet we're giving you 17 games of all the teams for $349. I get it. I understand that. But for the average person, that is a lot of money. A lot of people can't afford it. Especially in this economy with, prices the way they are. Some people just can't afford it. And I totally understand that. I wish they would have done a package like that where you can just, purchase your own team games and just be able to watch that. I think that would be fantastic. But that's the latest update. Doesn't look like the NFL is going to cave in. And I really do hope they get sued and they lose, because I might be in money just as well as anybody else who ever subscribed from the Sunday ticket from 2012 to 2022 is eligible to receive some type of compensatory, if that's the correct word, from the NFL losing this suit. I don't think they're going to lose it. I think it'll be settled out of court. It's just interesting, just extremely interesting that they should have, quit trying to be greedy. The fans are the ones that are paying your freaking salary. Cut us a break, guys. Cut us a freaking break so we can still enjoy the game and the team that we want to watch. All right. Let's see. Mark from Georgia said, do you have a 2013 AFC Championship Denver Broncos ring on your right hand? It looks like it. No, it's not. Actually, my friend, it is just just basically a fan ring. I wouldn't say souvenir ring, but a fan ring. I'll show it right here. Back it up a little bit. You twist it here. It just has like the little Bronco thing. It's well worn. I can't really show it any closer. It says Denver. It says Denver right there. On the other side, it says Broncos. Right there, it's pretty worn. I've dropped it several times. And then a closer look at the front of it. That's all it is. And those are all fake diamonds, and they've been dropped many times. I've had this for so many years, Mark. Thanks for asking. Had it so many years. It's so funny. People will ask me, man, did you ever, is that a Super Bowl ring? I'm like, dude, you think that's a Super Bowl ring? Here, let me show you. Yeah, I've had people say, is that a Super Bowl ring? I should do this with them. That is a Super Bowl ring. Look at the size difference. Yeah, that's a replica Broncos Super Bowl 50 ring. No, I've had, like I said, I've had many people ask me, it's Super Bowl ring. They've asked me, did you ever play for the Broncos? I have a mind to say to look at them and say, have you seen my body? I mean, I'm as thin as a rail, dude. No, I did not play for the Broncos. And then they go, oh, so I've had some people say, hey, did you ever work for them? I'm really close to just wanting to be facetious and say, yeah, I work for them. I work for them. I retired from them about 5 years ago. And then give them a name and have them go freaking crazy, try and find it. No, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to lie to them. But thanks, Mark, for asking. Really do appreciate it. Nope, it's just a regular Broncos fan ring that I've had for, oh, gee whiz. At least 25. Well, see, I got it when I was dating my wife. And I've been married to her for 27 years. It's at least 30-some years old. At least 30-some years old. But thanks for asking, Mark. Really do appreciate it. Mark says, that's awesome, Bill. You're lucky to get to see those games. It's better to watch that than the dirty turds. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Mark says, Sunday ticket isn't just not overpriced. It's overrated. People are not going to pay that. And I'll watch it on my phone live stream. You're right. You're absolutely right. They're not going to pay it. And, and right now they're keeping it pretty reasonable at $349. I say reasonable. Like I mentioned, about going to a game and spending all the, souvenir and, parking and drinks or whatever. So yeah, it's very true. It's very true that I mean, to me, I look at $349. I'm like, good gosh, that's a big chunk out of my monthly amount. But if you break it up and save throughout the year, I don't know. Some people say, yeah, not a problem. Other people are like, yeah, well, let me add it up. I'm really only watching 10 Bronco games because the other 7 or 6 or 11 games, and the other 6 are on prime time. So am I really getting my money's worth? That's all what people have to decide that for themselves. Absolutely have to decide for you. Let's see. Muhammad Badri says, howdy, Bill. I said, what's up, Muhammad? Nice to have you in the chat, my friend, as always. All right, guys, let me continue on. All right, here we go. Yep. Courtland Sutton is still at odds with the Denver Broncos. Courtland Sutton reported to the Broncos minicamp, but nothing has changed between himself and the Broncos. Sutton said, and I quote, the talks with the team more than a month ago when the contract issue became known are at a stalemate. When asked, end quote, when asked if he considered skipping the minicamp, he said, and I quote, it was definitely something that was considered. I wanted to make sure it was known about the conversation and the stalemate, but I also wanted it to be known that I love ball, end quote. Well, what message are you sending, Courtland? You're sending a message that says, I want a new contract. I want to get it redone, but I want to keep playing because I love this game. Okay, that's great. Let it be known that you love the game. We know you love the game. But do the Broncos love you enough to keep you on the team? Well, obviously, because they traded Jerry Jeudy and not you. But I don't think that they're really eager to just up your salary, so to speak. New contract. Why? Because it's all based on last year. I've said this many, many times. It's all based on last year. So it's more about your overall career and contract as opposed to just 1 year. Let me continue. He finished by saying, and I quote, "I hope that I'm part of this bigger picture. I've been told that is the game plan," end quote. Well, there you go. If that's the game plan, then the Broncos obviously want to keep him on the team because they didn't trade him, like I mentioned. However, they're not real eager, like I mentioned. And it says right there that he hopes that he's part of the bigger picture. And that's what he's been told. He's been told that, in my opinion, because they want to keep him, but they don't necessarily want to increase his contract. So there has to be some type of a happy medium. Sutton wants so much. Broncos want to close that gap. Which person or which organization, being Broncos, or which person, being George Paton, which one's going to crack first? Is it going to be Courtland Sutton? Well, if he holds out, he's going to be fined. So therefore, he loses more money. So that's pretty stupid. And if he doesn't hold out and he does come back and play, well, they can still work on a contract while he's playing. The contract, I mean, he's going to get his money this year. I know he wants it for years down the road. We'll work on that this year as you play, as you produce. Do what you did last year, Courtland, and then some. And I guarantee you, or pretty much guarantee you, that they would increase your salary. I bet you bottom dollar. But if you go out there and suck it up and stink up the joint, well, then again, why would they pay you the money if you have it? Isn't that what they did to Russell Wilson? They gave him all that money without ever seeing what he could produce. And it bit him in the butt. They're not willing to do that with Courtland Sutton. They got burned once. They got burned once. They're not going to want to get burned twice. So I doubt seriously they're going to pony up any money to Courtland Sutton prior to seeing what he does this year. Yeah, he had a good year last year. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's only the 1 year. Go back and prove it again, Courtland. I know a completely different quarterback. I get it. But go back and prove it again. And probably, most likely, the Broncos will give you that money. Can't guarantee it. I'm not George Paton. I'm just saying. It sounds like that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you, Courtland, to come back and show that last year wasn't just a flash in the pan. That's the kind of player you are and can be and will be. That, my friend, I think is what they're looking for. All right. Okay. Let me go down the line here. Mark says, I think his agent has been doing all the talking behind closed curtains. He's giving him bad advice, and his agent is known to be hard to work with. Well, there you go. Like I said last week, I'd fire the sucker. I'd fire him on the spot and say, hey, get this thing done. Do what you got to do to get this thing done before training camp, or you're gone. You're fired. You're done. You're history. Adios. Arrivederci. Sayonara. Kick him out the door. Say goodbye. Get somebody else. Do your own negotiating, whatever it takes. But to have somebody as your agent that is a freaking idiot, just kick him down the road. Get rid of him, you know? Mark follows up by saying, if he plays this year and becomes a leader like we know he is and sets an example and produces, then he'll get paid. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was saying, Mark. Exactly what I was saying. You know? I'm not ignoring you, man, but you're just saying some crazy stuff, man, that just doesn't really pertain to what the topic is. So that's why I wasn't bringing it up, but Rudy says, okay, Bill, don't ignore me, sir. I'll tell you a secret. It's all good, man. Just go along with the flow. Don't go off on your own little wavelength, and well, bring your comments up. All right, here we go. Speaking of holdouts, or those who are holding out, or for various reasons, some people do it like Courtland Sutton. Didn't go to the OTAs because he wants this contract done and all that kind of stuff. I get that. Okay, that's all well and good, but okay, but here it is. When a person, a prominent player, the prominent player on a certain team doesn't show up for minicamp, glad this guy's not on our team. Here it is. Aaron Rodgers is rumored to be away from the New York Jets minicamp because injury? He's still recovering from injury? No. Nope. That was last year. He's had the whole year off to do whatever he wanted to do, go wherever he wanted to go, and still be at minicamp. But no, Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna. And thank goodness he's not on our team, because this guy is a nutcase. He's a basket case. He thinks the whole world of the NFL revolves around him. Well, it doesn't, Aaron. You prima donna. You want to be. You're just a mess. There you go. He's rumored to be away from the New York Jets minicamp on an ayahuasca retreat instead of attending mandatory, not volunteer. He's getting fined for not being there, but he doesn't care, because to him, it's not about the team. It's not about being part of the team. It's about Aaron Rodgers. It's about me, what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do because I know I'll be welcome back because I'm Aaron Rodgers. Well, what a freaking moron, idiot, self-centered, egotistical idiot, total idiot. Man, I'll tell you what, Green Bay must be so happy he's gone. And I'm so freaking happy the Broncos don't have him. Absolutely ecstatic we don't have him. Thank goodness. Let me continue. Last March, Rodgers spent some time at a retreat in Costa Mesa or Costa Rica. I think it's Costa Rica. I wrote it down wrong. I'm sorry. Retreat in Costa Rica for the same thing. Well, here's the problem I have. All right. If you want to do that, go for it, man. Enjoy yourself. Knock yourself out. Have a fantastic time. Why are you doing it when the team needs you? I'm not a Jets fan. I could care less about the Jets. I think this is hilarious. But it's just about the player being a complete, he's a narcissistic idiot. It's all about him. What he wants to do. He could care less about the New York Jets. Really? Slap in the face of that team, isn't it? And the owner and what they're paying him, he had the entire last year and part of the offseason to do whatever he wanted to do because he was injured and rehabbing his torn Achilles. And now, when there's minicamp, mandatory minicamp, he basically does thumbs his nose at him, middle finger at him, and says, screw it, I don't care. I ain't going. Find me whatever you want to find me. I ain't going. I'm going to go do my own thing because all I have to do is show up because I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm Aaron Rodgers. All I have to do is just show up because I'm the guy. No, you're not. You're an idiot. I hope you suck this year. And I know we play the Jets this year. Man, I hope we tear them a new one. Absolutely do. Just send a message that, it's a team sport, you freaking moron. It's not an Aaron Rodgers NFL. No, contrary to what you think, Aaron, it's not an Aaron Rodgers NFL. There is no A in NFL. None. Wow. What an absolute egotistical, mercy. Unbelievable. Let's see. Yeah. Rudy's right. Aaron Rodgers, you're a putt. You're absolutely is. Aaron Rodgers is a complete idiot. Absolute moron, fool. I mean, like I said, what else can you say? It's all about him. All about him. And whew, man, it's the Jets' problem now. It's the Jets' problem now. Wow. Let's see. Yeah, Mark from Georgia says, Mr. Self-Centered. Absolutely. Absolutely. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. All right. Broncos running back Jaleel McLaughlin has impressed offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi by his work ethic. McLaughlin gets McLaughlin gets to Broncos headquarters as early as 5:30 a.m. every morning to get into work done. Lombardi said, and I quote, "One thing you know about Jaleel is that he's going to work hard. Whatever you ask him to do, he's going to work at it. I don't know if there's anyone that works harder than him. His speed, his acceleration, his explosiveness has all been impressive this spring. Obviously, we're not in pads, but he's been outstanding," end quote. Wow. What high praise from the offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi. Does that mean, though, that Williams is maybe taking a back seat to McLaughlin? Well, okay. I mean, so be it. We want our best players out there who are our best players. I don't care who it is. I mentioned it last week, talking about quarterback controversy. Is it going to be Jared Stidham? Is it going to be Zach Wilson? Is it going to be Bo Nix? Doesn't matter to me. I don't care who it is. All I want are Bronco wins. I want W's. After every single Bronco game, I want to see a W right by their name. I don't want to see an L. I don't want to see an O at all. So I don't care who our quarterback is. I know, guys, I'm excited to see what Bo Nix can do and that kind of thing. But when it comes to brass taxes, when it comes to the bottom line, I want to see Broncos win a game. Like I said, I don't care who's starting. I don't care who's playing, as long as it's the best players on the field for that game. That's what I want. If it's a Bo Nix, fantastic. If it's a Stidham, okay. If it's Zach Wilson, well, he better be the best we got. And if that's the case, man, he better shine or we're in deep kimchi. Whew, man, now that not looking forward to that one. It's either going to be a Bo Nix or Jared Stidham, but I'll get into that. I do have something in regards to that as we move on. Let's see. Oh, Biggie Bronco in the chat. Biggie Bronco, how you doing, my friend? He said, that ain't nothing. I used to do it every day and didn't leave till 8 o'clock at night. I used to get to work at 5:30 a.m. and leave work at 8 at night in the dark. Oh, man, a 15-hour day? Well, considering the time you left or the time you got up, holy smokes, dude. That is crazy. That's crazy, man. That's a long freaking day. That's a long freaking day. My hat tips off. My hat tips off to you, the Big E, for doing that. Wow, that's crazy. D-Rock in the house. D-Rock in the chat says, Big Bill. I say, what's up, Big D-Rock? Nice to have you, my friend. Sounds great. That's glad that each and every one of you are in the chat. Really do appreciate it, man. Big E Bronco says he did concrete work for 25 years. Holy smokes, dude. That's got to be hard work. That's got to be hard work. I know I was doing new construction in ditches, laying 4-inch pipe for electrical, 6 feet deep, 8 feet deep, 10 feet deep, depending on where we were. And of course, I did that in my my early 30s, late 20s. Yeah, late 20s, early 30s. Then I said, man, I got to get something easier. So I went to the school district and worked in maintenance for 28 years. So, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's hard work. I never did concrete, but I watched those guys. Oh my gosh, man. Amazing, ability to be able to do that, obviously, when you're young. But man, that's some tough work, dude. That's some tough work right there. All right. Mark Schlereth talks about Bo Nix. Now, this is what goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier in the chat about, quarterback and all that kind of stuff, who should be the starter in that. Mark Suarez has never held back on what he feels regarding anything, but especially about the Broncos. Given the quarterback competition, Mark Suarez had this to say, and I quote, "If Bo Nix isn't your starter, then did Denver miss on taking Nix at number 12? Well, my question or my answer to that is depends. Did they miss on him because they want him to be the starting quarterback? He just isn't ready at the NFL level. I mean, he was great in college, but is he at the NFL level? If not, sit him for a year. Let him watch Jared Stidham. I know, guys, it'll be a tough pill to swallow. But either way, if Bo Nix starts and he falters throughout the year and the Broncos end up, 8-9 again, is that a bad season? Well, not necessarily, because it's exactly the same season they had last year, 8-9. Or if you start Stidham and the Broncos go 8-9, is that a bad season? No. Again, not necessarily, because that's what we got last year. But it would give Bo Nix a year to watch and learn the NFL system. That's what we're talking about. Listen to what Mark Suarez said, and I continue. I'm still quoting him. Everything they said about Nix was Bo started 61 games, has a supercomputer as a processor, meaning he's thinking, is incredibly accurate, was the best college red zone quarterback in the nation, had the best completion percentage, and never fumbled while at Oregon. Okay, those end quote. Those are all well and good stats, but they're college stats. NFL's different. NFL's faster. NFL's bigger. NFL hits harder. NFL schemes differently. Offense, defense, they scheme differently. They learn. They adapt. They progress. They meaning opponents that the Broncos will be facing. They learn what you're doing. And if you don't change, they will. And even if you do change, they'll find a way to try and counteract. The NFL is different. Sure, Bo Nix played 61 games in college, more than any other college quarterback in last year's draft. Okay, fine. That's college. That's not pro. That's not the pro system. That's not the pro way of doing things necessarily. Yes, he had a pro type system, but was it a Sean Payton type system? Possibly not. We don't know what we're going to get in Bo Nix. We haven't seen him play. Not even preseason, because we're not there yet. Okay? Let me continue what Mark Suarez says. Mark Suarez's point is, why draft a quarterback at number 12 if you don't plan on playing him? Okay? I'm not saying that the Denver Broncos aren't going to play Bo Nix. I'm not saying that at all. And I really don't think that the Broncos are saying that. What they're saying is, who is going to be their starting quarterback? Does that mean that if Jared Stidham is named the starting quarterback, that Bo Nix won't play? No, that's not what they're saying, I don't think, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm thinking if Jared Stidham starts, it's because he has more NFL experience than Bo Nix. And that's absolutely true, because Bo Nix doesn't have any NFL experience. So if Stidham starts, Bo Nix could come in game 2, 3, or 4, depending on how Jared Stidham plays. I mean, if Stidham goes out as a starting quarterback, I'm just saying if Jared Stidham is the Broncos starting quarterback game 1, and the Broncos roll with him for 3 or 4 or 5 games, and the Broncos are 4-1 after 5 games, do you take him out? Absolutely not. But if the Broncos are 1-4, then yes, I say Bo Nix comes in and becomes your starting quarterback. But we won't know any of that. And that's why there is a quarterback competition, because the Broncos brass don't know that. Sean Payton doesn't know who it's going to be yet. He may have an idea. He may, tell his coaches and everybody talks about it, but it's not being leaked out as to who it's going to be. We're not even to the OTAs. I mean, we just had the mini camps, but we're not even out to the scrimmages yet, or the preseason games. There's going to be a break in it till early August. So we got all of next month. We got the rest of June. We got all of July. And then we'll have, we'll have some practices and whatnot at the late July, getting ready for the scrimmages and preseason, but nothing for at least the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we don't really know who it's going to be. Don't really know who it's going to be. Madungus Creevy, what is up? He says, what's up? I say, what's up? And then he follows up by saying, I'm back. I guess that means you're back in Nebraska because you were down in Houston with your family. I hope that went well. Glad to have you back. And hopefully you are back in Nebraska and everybody is well and good, healthy, and all of that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Von Miller. Now, Von Miller is an absolute icon in Denver, a treasured player in Denver for what he did on the Broncos team and what he did in Super Bowl 50 to literally single-handedly, in my opinion, win that Broncos Super Bowl 50 championship. Without Von Miller, I'm not sure we even get to the Super Bowl. That's how instrumental he was, along with everybody else, DeMarcus Ware and everybody else that was on that team. Just fantastic team. Listen to what Von Miller had to say recently. Von Miller played with Peyton Manning and even thanked him for being on the Broncos. But does Von Miller believe that Peyton Manning is the GOAT, greatest of all time? Okay. Well, during the Chiefs ring ceremony, Patrick Mahomes posted a picture with the rings, not ring, rings, all three of them like this. Had all three of them like that. Miller commented on the post with the GOAT emoji. Really? Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT? Okay, let me continue. This isn't sitting well in Broncos country because it's the Chiefs, as well as many Broncos fans, including myself, feel Peyton Manning is higher all time than Patrick Mahomes. I totally agree. And here's why I agree. Okay. Peyton Manning did something that I hope Patrick Mahomes never has to do. And that is recover from multiple neck surgeries due to a hit taken on the field that could have paralyzed Peyton Manning from the neck down. Thank God it didn't. And also could have ended his career at that point, which it did not. Peyton Manning came back and played 4 seasons with the Denver Broncos, going to 2 Super Bowls, losing to that Wilson guy in 48, Super Bowl 48. But he came back and played at a very high efficiency. Yes, he lost a little bit in that Super Bowl season and championship. Sure he did. But he had a defense that could bail him out each and every time. Do I think that Patrick Mahomes is a much better quarterback than Peyton Manning? I go back to what I've said many, many times. You have to look at the decade and the era of when and which they played, how it was played. Okay? Peyton Manning played in a different type of system and game of the NFL that is played now. Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowls. That's true. But that's because Patrick Mahomes is on a freaking dynasty team, much like the Dallas Cowboys of yesteryear, or the Pittsburgh Steelers of yesteryear, or the Denver Broncos of the 90s, or the Green Bay Packers back in the day. I mean, they're dynasties. How about the you can't say dynasty without saying New England Patriots, of course. So, it all has to do with the teams that you're on. Did Peyton Manning do what Peyton Manning did under the circumstances that he had to endure? Absolutely. And he got it done at a high proficiency. His thinking process, the way he could look at the game, the defense, and just go right into the play and audible into that play that made him a legend and will be a legend and will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. Am I taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is, Vaughn, think about it. Yes, he's got 3 Super Bowl rings. Peyton Manning has 2. John Elway has 2 as a player, 3 total. Von Miller has 2, 1 Broncos and 1 on Rams. But can you say that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time? No. You got to count in Tom Brady. Tom Brady has more Super Bowl wins than Patrick Mahomes. So if you're basing it on Super Bowl wins, that's not true, Vaughn. That's not true. You can't say he's the GOAT. Maybe in this era of where we are now, yes, I would have to agree. Because Peyton Manning isn't playing anymore. Tom Brady isn't playing anymore. So you have to look at the teams that have quarterbacks now that have that type of accomplishments. So yes, at this point in time, I would say Patrick Mahomes is this generation's, this decade's GOAT. Yes, I would agree with that. But that's not what you said, Vaughn. You didn't say that. You just said he's the GOAT. And with the GOAT emoji, but you didn't specify. Okay? I know you didn't say the GOAT of all time. Well, GOAT stands for greatest of all time. And I can't agree with that. I would have to agree with he's the greatest at this decade, in this generation, but not the greatest quarterback of all time. Sorry to disagree with you, Vaughn, but you can't say he's the greatest of all time when Tom Brady has doubled him in rings. And he did it with 2 different teams. 2 different teams. All right? Okay, I move on. Okay, here we go. The main topic of the show is David Shaw joins the Denver Broncos. You're like, David Shaw, God, that name is familiar. Why is it so familiar? Well, I'll tell you why he's familiar. Because he was interviewed for the Broncos head coach in 2023 that ultimately went to Sean Payton. Okay. So you're going, wow. Well, it says that the topic of the show, main topic is David Shaw joins the Broncos. As what? Why would David Shaw be joining the Broncos if we got Sean Payton? Here we go. Let me tell you. Former Stanford head coach David Shaw was hired by George Payton. Shaw moves into the personnel side of football operations as the senior personnel executive. Shaw, if you remembered, interviewed for the Broncos head coaching job in 2023. That's what exactly right. Shaw is the Stanford Cardinal all-time winningest head coach. Wow. And they brought him on as a senior personnel executive. What does that mean for George Payton? Is George Payton's job in jeopardy? I don't know. Why would he bring him on if he thought his job was in jeopardy? I mean, if you're a GM, would you hire somebody that you thought would, take over your job, your position anytime soon? I sure wouldn't. I don't think that's what George Payton was doing. I think what it is this is coming from Greg Penner and the Walton Penner ownership group. There's a lot of Stanford ties. Condoleezza Rice has Stanford ties. So does Greg Penner. So does his wife as well. So I just think that they've watched this guy. They've admired him. They see how he works with college people or college players. He's going to be instrumental in scouting and evaluating player personnel, obviously, seeing who's the best fit for a certain role, whatever. I just don't know if George Payton's job is 100% secure. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I mean, being a Bronco fan, I kind of wish him all the best. I don't know what's going to transpire. But hey, if David Shaw is going in there and he's evaluating these college players and he's doing some scouting with the scouts and he's reporting back to Greg Penner and the ownership group, hey, great. That's fantastic. Absolutely. Let's just all work like spokes, guys. Let's all just work like spokes and just make this thing work. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get the wheel turning. Let's get a move on. Let's make this thing work. All right. Speaking of the Chiefs a little earlier, this is somewhat hilarious. It couldn't happen to a more hated team. I think it's kind of funny, hilarious, kind of interesting. Here it is. Listen to this. The Kansas City Chiefs owners shelled out $40,000 each for Super Bowl rings to each player. $40,000 to each player, each executive, anybody affiliated with the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, that's all well and good. That's what owners do when you win championships. Let me continue. But something was wrong. The back-to-back champions couldn't defend against a major typo that was engraved into the ring. Now, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've got a Broncos championship ring, well, replica ring here. See if you can see inside. Oh, let me turn upside down. Or the way. See if you can see inside. Okay, see inside how it says the scores? Right there it says, let me get it right, Bill. It says Broncos 23-13 against the Steelers, 2018 against the Patriots, and 24-10 against the Panthers. Okay? That's what it says inside the ring. Guess what? Inside the Chiefs ring, it says something completely different. Okay? Not anything bad or anything, but just a typo. All right? Here it goes. The Kansas City Chiefs were division winners and therefore didn't play in the first round of the playoffs. When they did play against the Miami Dolphins, which was round 2 basically, it was 1 versus number 6. Number 1 versus number 6. However, the ring was engraved as number 1 versus number 7. The Steelers were the number 7 team, not Miami. Most players didn't really care, but I find that extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Hey, you can look at it as, hey, we got a collector's item. That never happened, so now the ring's worth more. Well, you can look at it that way. Or you can look at it and go, who came up with that bonehead idea? I mean, obviously, we didn't play the first round, so why would it be 1 against 7? It's not. It was 1 versus 6, not 1 versus 7. I found that interesting and humorous because it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Anytime you can sit there and just poke fun at them and just have a good laugh at it, I enjoy that. I really, really do enjoy that because it's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the way it is. All right. Let's see. D-Rock says, strange coincidence. The morning of David Shaw hiring, I was meal prepping and thought of him. No idea why. About an hour later, we signed him. Wow, man. Maybe you got some type of ESP or something. I don't know. That's crazy, dude. Hey, like you said, strange coincidence. Just never know, man. Never know. He pops into your head and then he signs a contract with the Broncos. So, hey, maybe you got some pull there, D-Rock. Not sure. Maybe you got some pull. Travis Johnson in the chat. Thank you so much, Travis, for being in the chat and on the show. Really do appreciate it. Says George has made some good moves, but letting GB trick you. Green Bay? Probably Green Bay trick you into Nate. Yeah, there you go. Letting Green Bay trick you into Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson. He has to go for that alone. And don't give me, he got Bo Nix. Sean got Bo, not George. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did like the hiring of George Payton when we got him. I really did. I thought that was a good move coming from Minnesota. But he hasn't really, lately he hasn't really done anything. And that bothers me. That bothers me because as a GM, you want a really good, solid GM that will make all the right moves, or at least hopefully most of the right moves, and not mortgage the farm like they did to get Russell Wilson and then let him go and eat all that money and then have Nathaniel Hackett just ruin the team for at least 2 years that we know of, because it was ruined last year because Sean Payton had to dumb it down with Russell Wilson. So, yeah, no, I agree with you, Travis. I really do. Really do agree with you. And really do appreciate your comment. Thanks so much. All right, guys. On the heels of the Kansas City laughter with the ring, I now bring you this week's Jackass of the Week. All right, here we go. Chiefs defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs has been arrested for the second time in a month, this time for domestic violence and burglary in Alabama last Sunday morning. Reason why it's the second time is he was arrested the first time, and I didn't bring this on my show because I really get wound up and angered when people harm animals. I really do. And I knew that just reading that and getting all wound up, I was going to lose my mind and probably say something that probably wouldn't be appropriate or appreciated on this network or even my channel for that matter. But I'll give you a briefing. He left dogs chained up in his yard with no food and no water, and they couldn't get away because they're chained up. Bugs should be hung upside down and beaten with an absolute baseball bat. That's just my opinion, guys. Just my opinion. Yes, I'm getting a little worked up because I can't stand when people mistreat animals. They are animals. They cannot defend themselves for the most part, especially dogs. They cannot defend themselves for the most part. They're at your mercy. Dogs love to be treated well, just like any animal. But dogs are man's best friend for real. They love you unconditionally. Why are you treating them like trash? And I'm sorry I get wound up. And yes, I knew that when I brought this in, I was going to go back to that story, but I can't help it. I hope this guy suffers. I hope he has a horrible season this coming season in Kansas City. I hope he has a horrible season. And I almost want to go so far to say I hope his career's ended, but I'm not going to say that, even though I did. I'm not going to say that that's what I want. But to be arrested second time in less than a month, domestic violence and burglary in Alabama last Sunday morning. Buggs' agent says his victim is being targeted to force the closure of the hookah lounge he owns in the Tuscaloosa area. No further details were available, and the Chiefs have not commented on Buggs at all. Okay? Well, what's that tell you about the Chiefs? That tells you about the Chiefs. If they didn't get rid of this guy after the animal abuse charge and animal cruelty, and now he's being arrested for domestic violence and burglary, and the Chiefs aren't doing anything about this guy. They haven't cut him yet. Chiefs are a mess. Chiefs are absolutely a mess. And that organization, I didn't like the Chiefs before. I never have. And now I really can't stand them because they are not doing anything about this situation. This is the second time in less than a month that we have the same guy with animal cruelty and now domestic violence and burglary in less than a month. And the Chiefs are like, we have no comment. Well, I understand they want to keep it in-house because that's what organizations do. They want to take care of it in-house. Well, that's fine. That's all well and good. You can take care of it in-house. Cut this guy. Let him go. He's not, oh, they said, well, he's a great player. So what? So freaking what? He is a cancer in the locker room. And again, guys, not that I want the Chiefs to be successful, because I don't. But this is not about the Chiefs. It's not about whether or not I want them to be successful or not. This is about a person who is an absolute, and I don't want to use the word animal because he was cruel to them, but he's an absolute menace. He's an absolute idiot. He's a thug. He's no good. Get rid of him. Absolutely cut him. But the Chiefs won't. You watch, the Chiefs won't cut him. Of course not. Of course not. Because they won't do that. That's the Chiefs. Rudy says, come on now, let's just get rid of him and get someone who cares about the game, not for being an idiot. Absolutely. Totally agree. Absolutely, totally agree. You know, I mean, maybe he cares about the game, but he obviously doesn't care about his dogs. That's for sure. You know, and if he was punishing them, that's not what you do. You don't do that to animals. You don't. He has no business whatsoever being an owner of any animals. And heaven forbid he's a father if that's the case. Because if that's the case, he dang sure if he can't treat animals correctly and he can't treat dogs that he has correctly, doesn't need to be a father. Doesn't need to have any kids, that's for sure. Boy, I sure hope he doesn't. Man, I sure hope he doesn't. For the kids' sake, that is. For the kids' sake. All right, guys. Here is this week's last topic of today's show. And I want to thank each and every one again for being in the chat, for watching, wherever you may be. Really do appreciate it, whether you're watching, whether you're listening, whether you're participating in the chat. I greatly appreciate it, each and every one of you. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It's the easiest way to show that you care about the show, that you enjoy watching it, you enjoy the content, you enjoy this crazy 65-year-old guy talking about sports. Really do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. Greatly appreciate it. I'm at 232 on my channel. I'm pushing for 250 by the end of July. Really do hope that you guys show the appreciation. Tell your friends. If you subscribe, it costs you nothing, absolutely nothing. Hit the thumbs up, costs nothing as well. It greatly helps out the show. Lets everybody else out there that comes across it want to take a look at it because you guys have given that thumbs up and the subscription. Really do appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. All right, guys. Last topic. This is a stat or a list you as an organization do not want to be on. Okay? Here it is. If you've watched any of my Friday shows, Broncos Breakdown, of course, you are aware of my Jackass of the Week segment. Well, which we just did. Well, the NFL has released a list of all 32 teams and how many arrests per team. Okay? This is for the lifespan. And I understand that some teams have been in the league an awful lot longer than other teams. But that's beside the point, to a degree. I mean, obviously, if you've been in the league longer, you're going to have more issues and things like that. I understand it. This is interesting because at the end of this segment here, I think you're going to be dumbfounded at a couple of teams that are in areas that you didn't think they would be. Okay, let me continue. This is a list you don't want to be first on. Absolutely do not want to be first on. I'll list the top 10 and all 4 AFC West teams and where and how many arrests players have had or people within an organization have had on that team. All right, here we go. Vikings, 55. 55. They're the number 1 team on the list with the most arrests from the Vikings players, personnel, organization, whatever, in the organization. 55. You want to know who number 2? I'll get to that in a minute. Number 3, Chicago Bears, 50. Okay. Chiefs, speaking of bugs, the Chiefs, 40. Might be 41 now because that idiot, or 42. Or, well, yeah. Anyways, Chiefs were listed at 40. Cleveland Browns, 39. Jaguars, 39. Tennessee Titans, 38. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 37. Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Colts, Indianapolis Colts, 36. And Miami Dolphins, 34. And you're saying to yourself, well, who's number 2? Vikings were 55. Who's number 2? AFC West. Here we go. AFC West. Number 1 team for most arrests on the organization in the AFC West is the Denver Broncos. Can you believe that? The Denver Broncos have 54 arrests listed, 54, one behind the Minnesota Vikings of 55. Holy smokes. And I know it's like, it's DUIs or breaking and entering. It was, I can name, some of the players or whatnot, but 54. Number 2. Wait a minute. Let me go back to Broncos. 54. Wouldn't that be the Oakland/Vegas Raiders? I mean, come on. The Raiders are the Raiders. They would have 54, right? Not Denver. No. Denver Broncos, 54. Okay. Number 2 in the AFC West. That's got to be the Raiders. I mean, there's no doubt it's got to be the Raiders. Nope. Kansas City Chiefs, number 40. I mentioned it earlier. Chiefs at 40. Okay. Well, number 3, without a doubt, has to be the Raiders. There is no question. Yes, there is. Chargers, 27. Broncos, 54. Chiefs, 40. Chargers, 27. Raiders, 25. That's it. 25 arrests on the Raiders organization. Broncos have doubled that and then some with 54. Freaking believable. Unbelievable. I never would have thought in a million years the Broncos would have been second. I wouldn't have thought the Broncos would have been anywhere near there. But they are. They're second at 54. The Vikings own the crown at 55. Wow. Never saw that coming either. Never saw that coming whatsoever. That is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling that the Raiders only have 25 arrests in their organization. Broncos at 54. Unfreaking believable. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, week in and week out on this Friday and every Friday, giving up an hour plus of your time, a little over an hour and 17 minutes of your evening on a Friday night, wherever you may be, taking out the time to watch and listen to this crazy guy talk sports. And for your support, guys, means the absolute world to me and to the network, as well as my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Really do appreciate it, guys. I'm going to go down the list in the chat to recognize each and every one once again who were in the chat, because without you guys, I would be talking to a wall, and that's not what this show's about. You guys make the show. You make it what it is, and I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you, like I always do at the end of the show. Batting leadoff, Mark from Georgia. Really do appreciate it. Second is Graham. Really do. Thank you for being in. Rudy Torres, my brother-in-law from Vegas, batting third. Then we got down the list, and we've got, keep on going. Then we got Muhammad Badri batting cleanup this week. Thanks, Muhammad, for dropping in. Really do appreciate it. Muhammad Badri. We go down the list. We got, let's see, where am I? Oh, we got Big E. Big E's in the chat, batting fifth. D-Rock batting sixth. Really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Batting seventh, Madungus Creevy. Thank you so much, Madungus. Welcome back to Nebraska. Batting eighth is Travis Johnson. And that wraps up. And that wraps up the people in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so very, very much each and every week. Guys, thanks a million. Enjoy your Friday evening, wherever you may be. And we will talk to you next Friday. But until then, guys, we have shows Monday through Friday on the MHRT network. And then I'm back on Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8, MHRT network, as well as my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Guys, until next Friday, have a wonderful, fantastic weekend. And we will talk to you and see you then. Till then, guys, have a great evening. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street. Bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute.